when an IRA bomb blast left him with hearing loss, causing him to lose his job and his home.
All I remember is this massive explosion.
Terrorist bombers this afternoon penetrated security at the British Army headquarters outside Belfast.
I was about 20 or so feet, no more than that, away from the first bomb that went off.
2 vehicle bombs inside the base.
I was covered by a building, but I was close enough to feel, I still felt the explosion.
In October 1996, the IRA planted 2 car bombs at Lisbon Army Barracks in Northern Ireland. 1 soldier was killed, 30 people were injured. One of them was Mike Buss.
Although I wasn't a casualty at the time, it was found out afterwards something was wrong with my hearing. They basically said that I'd lost most of my hearing in my left ear and some of it in my right ear.
But despite the obvious risks of becoming a soldier, it was all Mike had ever wanted to do.
At 12 years old, I turned around and told my parents that I want to join the army. And they thought it was this phase that I would go through and eventually sort of get bored and say, oh, I just want a desk job or something normal. And then at 16 I left school. I told my parents I want to join the army still. And they said, no, you're going to college. Within a few weeks of being at college, I was not going to college. I was getting the college bus from the top of the hill here into Swindon, and then I'd walk around to the TA centre and I'd pester the permanent staff there, who were regular soldiers training the TA soldiers. Can I clean the weapons? What jobs have you got going? What jobs? Not to get paid. I just wanted to be around the army. That's all I wanted to do.
In 1991, Mike realised his dream and joined up.
And it was like this big adventure of my whole life was just about to leap off into unknown adventures all over the place.
One unknown adventure was to alter Mike's life for good. The terrorist bomb which caused his loss of hearing devastated Mike's army career.
I was downgraded, which meant basically I couldn't do my full operational job and was limited to what I could do in the army. And eventually I was downgraded to a point where they said, right, you're medically discharged. And I got my little red book and went in to see the commanding officer and was told, well done, good career, blah blah blah. Sorry to see you go, and that was it. Travel warrant back home, and welcome to Civvy Street, which I did not enjoy.
Like many ex-soldiers, Mike struggled to adjust to civilian life. He tried to join the police and the fire service, but his hearing issues were a problem. Eventually, it all became too much.
I just decided to just pack bags and just get away from things. It just ended up, though getting away from things, ended up about 5 months or so on the streets.
But Mike wasn't alone in wanting to escape. It is estimated that over 10% of Britain's homeless people are ex-forces.
In my own little head, the way I was thinking is like I was doing what I was trained to do in the army, to survive against the elements, to survive against all that came against us. I felt I was back in the army. After, 5 months or so on the streets of London, I felt at home, but I thought this can't be me for the rest of my life.
Searching for something to focus his energies on, Mike signed up for the London Marathon. Having spent so long on the capital streets, running 26.2 miles around them seemed one way to bid them farewell. Never one to do things by halves though, he decided to give himself an extra challenge by doing it with an army pack on his back. He ended up breaking the world record for the fastest ever marathon run, carrying a 55-pound pack.
I'm holding the medal and I've got this face on me of like, I've done it, and that was a great feeling, and it was quite emotional actually. I'd raised a lot of money for Royal British Legion, and it all come to after spending so long on the streets.
The end of the marathon signalled a new beginning. Mike realised that by running and pursuing world records, he could raise a lot of money for charity. It was just the impetus he needed to get off the streets.
The longest run I've done would be the greatest distance covered in 7 days on a treadmill, where I ran 20 hours a day, covered approximately 3 marathons a day, and clocked up 517.25 miles in 7 days. That broke the existing record by 49 miles. My next challenge is to run from my hometown, Swindon, 120 miles south to the start line of the Brighton Marathon, run the Brighton Marathon, and then as I cross the finish line, run the 60 miles up to London. And that's 210 miles, which I should take 56 hours of non-stop running, no rest, no sleep.
Not a challenge for the faint-hearted, but just how do you prepare for an epic journey like that?
My average training week will be 80 to 100 miles of running a week. I've recently started doing really long training runs, where I've gone out for 24 hours and gone out at 7 o'clock at night and not come back till 7 o'clock at night the next day.
But you can't go all that time without eating, and Mike has discovered new meaning to the words fast food.
Started taking a credit card with me now, and I'll phone up for a pizza delivery on the roadside. And initially they said, "Are you putting our leg?" But I said, "Well, come on, you've got the credit card. If I'm not actually there, you've made a pizza, you've turned up. I'm not there, but you've still got my money." So they've turned up, and I'm there, and by surprise, and now they're used to it, I suppose.
But not many pizza companies will deliver in the middle of the night, and as Mike sets off from Swindon to Brighton, the road ahead seems long and lonely. Eventually, though, he arrives in Brighton just in time for the start of the marathon. To help lend support along the way, he's joined by a couple of familiar faces. After so long on the road, it's slow going, but all the hours of training stand Mike in good stead, and he completes the course. But even he's feeling the strain, so just how did he do it?
I've relied on a lot of energy gels, sugar, dolly mixtures, just like been tons of junk food keeping us away. But I think I've run the miles to allow myself to do that.
So the temptations of junk food aside, it's something much more important that spurs Mike on, and all the runs he does are for Forces charities. Once a soldier, always a soldier.
I wanted to give something back to the troops. I couldn't join the army again. I couldn't stand on the front line, but I could at least help them if they needed it coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq and so on.
Mike's aim is to raise £1 million by 2014. He's achieved everything else he set his mind to, so there's every reason to be confident he'll make it. See Here will certainly keep you posted.
You can keep track of Mike's record-breaking attempts via our website, and do let us know if you're a record breaker too. That's it for this week's show. Join us again next time. Bye bye.
What, if anything, can you do with haggis? Ready, Steady, Cook is next on BBC2.